Talent means nothing if you never use it. The world is full of talented people who never made it, and it's full of average people who won. Not because they were gifted, but because they acted when others hesitated. In this video, you'll learn why action beats talent every single time, what science and professionals say about it, and why execution, not potential, decides who wins. Welcome to Master of Report, the channel where we break down success, discipline, and human behavior using real research, real examples, and real truth. Let's begin.
Today, we're diving into the one single principle that really separates the people who succeed from the ones who just dream. It's called the action principle, and I'm telling you, getting this one idea right could change absolutely everything for you. I mean, really, just stop and think about that. What if this one belief, that some people are just gifted, is the very thing holding most of us back? We're always told to go find our talent, right? But what if the real secret is something you build, not something you're born with? And look, this isn't just some feel-good motivational quote. This comes from Dr. Anders Ericsson, the world's leading expert on, well, getting good at stuff. After decades of research, his conclusion was simple. The greats aren't born, they are made. And they're made through focused hard work. So the very first step is to completely destroy this myth about talent. All right, let's start by breaking down exactly why this idea of talent can be so incredibly dangerous. You know, it feels great to be called talented, but it can actually be a trap that sabotages you in the long run. This right here gets to the heart of the psychological trap. A researcher named Carol Dweck found that when people believe their success comes from some kind of innate talent, they become absolutely terrified of failure. And why is that? Because if you fail, it must mean you weren't talented after all. So to protect that fragile, gifted identity, you just stop taking risks. You avoid the hard stuff. And the evidence for this is just overwhelming. There was a huge study at Florida State University that followed gifted kids all the way into adulthood. And you know what they found? Most of them lived totally average lives. All that early praise just made them comfortable. It didn't make them disciplined. It turns out that grit, you know, that stubborn persistence, is a way better predictor of who actually succeeds. So if talent isn't the magic key, then what is? Well, the answer is a simple, incredibly powerful force that really anyone can use, and it's called the action principle. Now, this idea is famously championed by guys like Andrew Tate, who calls it raw action. The philosophy is dead simple. If you're stuck, do something, anything. Look, the point isn't that going for a run will magically fix your money problems, but the act of doing shatters that feeling of being stuck. It replaces passive thinking with real, forward momentum, and that's what puts you on the path to an actual solution. Talent might be a head start, but action is what gets you across the finish line. Talent is just potential. Action is real, usable power. Talent makes you fragile and scared to lose, while a deep commitment to action, that makes you unstoppable. Okay, this all sounds good in theory, but where's the actual proof? Well, let's just take a quick look at some of the most legendary figures in history. You're gonna see a very clear pattern start to emerge. First up, Michael Jordan. He wasn't born the GOAT. In fact, he was famously cut from his high school team. What set him apart wasn't some magical gift, it was his absolutely obsessive work ethic. He just plain outworked and outpracticed everybody else. End of story. And then you've got Thomas Edison. He wasn't even the smartest inventor of his time. He won through sheer volume. He's the guy who said genius is 99% perspiration, and boy did he prove it, failing his way to one of the most important inventions in human history. In modern sports, just look at Cristiano Ronaldo. Every single one of his early coaches says the exact same thing. It wasn't his natural talent that blew them away. It was his unbelievable, insane work ethic. He stayed late, did extra drills, and just refused to be outworked. So, the big question is, how do we actually build this for ourselves? How do we stop overthinking and just start doing? Well, it really comes down to a few key mental shifts. Step one is taking total, absolute responsibility for everything. This mindset, you'll hear it from ancient Stoics all the way to modern leaders. It means you own everything in your world. If it rains and you get wet, that's on you for not bringing an umbrella. See, this isn't about blaming yourself. It's about shifting your focus from the circumstances you can't control to your response, which you always can. So let's look at one breakdown of what really holds people back, and this comes from Andrew Tate. He argues it's rarely because you're stupid, and it's only sometimes because you're lazy. In his view, the biggest obstacle for the vast majority of people, we're talking 80%, is arrogance.
It's the belief that you already know better, that you don't need to listen, and that you'll just figure it out on your own, which is the very thing that prevents you from taking proven action.
And you know what? This is totally backed by science. The psychologist Albert Bandura's work on self-efficacy shows that real confidence doesn't come from just thinking positive thoughts. Nope, it comes from proof. You take one small action, you see a small result, and that result builds real, earned confidence to take the next, slightly bigger action. It's an incredibly powerful feedback loop.
So it all comes down to this one simple but really profound choice. You have to forget about what you could do. The only thing that will ever matter is what you actually do. This quote really just sums it all up perfectly. When you're stuck, when you're confused, when you're afraid, the solution isn't to think more, it's to act more. Action is what creates clarity. Let this one sink in for a second. History does not remember potential. It doesn't care about your brilliant ideas or your limitless gifts if they just stay locked up inside your head. We only remember the ones who showed up. The ones who executed, day in and day out. The ones who chose perspiration over potential. The world doesn't reward you for what you could do, it only rewards you for what you get done. And that really brings us to the end. The theory is over. The talking is done. The only thing left is the doing. And it doesn't have to be some huge, life-changing thing. It just has to be something. So the only real question left is this: what action are you going to take today?
If this video changed the way you see talent and effort, then it did its job. On Master of Report, we don't talk about motivation. We explain why people succeed, why others fail, and how action, discipline, and mindset shape your future. If you want more videos like this, subscribe to the channel and comment below. Do you think action beats talent, and why? Your answer matters. I'll see you in the next report.